Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Rabbit and Red Reviews. Eric here. On the docket today, Elijah Craig, 12-year-old barrel-proof Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. This is batch A119. So, as usual, we will do a nose, taste, finish review, chat a bit about the value. I will share my final thoughts, and I will score this whiskey for you. So let's get right into this one. So this is, as I mentioned, the batch number is A119. So Elijah Craig, which is from the Heaven Hill Distillery in Kentucky, releases 3 batches annually of their barrel-proof uncut whiskey. This is batch A, which is 119, which means it was released in January of 2019. They will do a second version of this, which will be batch B519, which will be released in May, and then C919, which will be released in September 2019. So with each one of these, you get a slight variation, obviously, considering that these are different batches in the flavor profile, but all in all, it does remain relatively consistent with the Elijah Craig profile for bourbon. So why don't we pour some of this in the glass and see what the A119 is all about. So as a bourbon, legally it cannot have any color added. So this is the natural color. Take a look there. Very dark, as you can tell. This is certainly an uncut bourbon. So on the nose. Wow. Right away on the nose, this is really rich and deep, a tad hot. This is bottled at 67.6% ABV. And since my math skills aren't great, that is the equivalent of 135.2 proof. So this is really, really high alcohol by volume. And it's showing a bit on the nose, as I mentioned. It is a bit hot. So this is definitely one we're going to be adding water to. There's no doubt about it. But also getting some notes of molasses, kind of a raw maple syrup, really dark, whether Demura or brown sugar. Wow, just amazing. Also some melted toffee. The charred oak is in there as well. Just incredible nose. Yeah, there's a fruit note as well. Thinking like candied pears, also apple. It's kind of like a red apple. It's there, but it's like kind of like a cidery red apple. Okay, let's give it a taste. Cheers. Wow. Just wow. As I mentioned, 67.6%. It's hot, but dark caramel, brown sugar, kind of cinnamon red hots. There's also a leathery, slight tobacco note going on as well as it develops. And like a creamy, almost like butterscotch. The finish is just going on for days. Wow, this is impressive, and honestly entirely consistent with Elijah Craig barrel proof releases that I've had in the past. Chocolate, dark cocoa chocolate. Also a little bit of a dark kind of coffee, like a roasted coffee note. A little bit of that leathery taste as well. Slight sweetness. There's definitely some sweetness, the vanilla, still kind of carrying through here. And just a really nice balance of oak barrel. Wow, just awesome. I'm putting some water on this one, as I mentioned, 67.6%. This is one we're gonna have to tame down a little bit here. Wow, the vanilla really, really picks up with the additional water. Also that toffee, there's a little bit of a nuttiness too. I have a hard time distinguishing between the different types of nuts that I pick up in bourbons, but we'll just stick with nuttiness for now. Maple syrup still there. The fruitiness is taking a little bit of a background. This is all just intense, classic bourbon notes, just to the max. That dark molasses still there. It's a little bit of like a brown sugar, but also kind of a nice light powdered sugar. Seems to be working across the top of it. Also really fantastic. Mm. The additional water kills that heat, but doesn't kill the flavor at all. That taste is just everything I described before, but it's the heat removed. Dark chocolate, cinnamon, a little bit of clove spice, sweetness, vanilla, a little bit of a honey almost. Slight tobacco still there. Finish still, just going on forever. Wow. Awesome bourbon, just awesome bourbon. So back in, I think it was 2017, their batch B1171 Whiskey of the Year from Jim Murray's Whiskey Bible, however much stock you put in that. In this case, I'd say, yeah, definitely, this is definitely on par with something that could reach a Bourbon of the Year status. As I mentioned, it's 12 years old. No color added because it's a bourbon. That's legally required. It is also non-chill filtered. This is awesome stuff. Awesome, awesome stuff. So this came out in January. So this is definitely available on the shelves across the United States right now. It's not always super easy to find, but it's not exclusive either. It's one of those things where, like, once it's released and you catch wind of it, you might want to get out there and try and find a bottle as soon as you can, because for those in the know, they're going out to grab this right away. So I'm going to take one more sip of this. As far as the value goes, $65 to $80 is what you're going to pay in most whiskey shops in the United States. Definitely worth it. This is a buy two, maybe three. You find this for 60, 65 bucks. Buy as many as you can afford. This is a whiskey you're never going to be disappointed going back to. And having a few sitting in that bunker is, you're only going to congratulate yourselves later when you're looking to grab a nice, just top-notch bourbon, having a few sitting there waiting for you. Good call. So final thoughts here. I mean, this is just simply one of the best bourbon whiskeys you can buy. You're going to get, again, slight variation with each batch, which makes it, kind of fun to go out and grab each one of them. As I mentioned, they come out in January, May, September each year. Definitely worth grabbing all three to compare and contrast. But I don't think any of them will disappoint you. This is just honestly what bourbon's all about. My score on this is going to be 5 out of 5, which is a go out and buy it right now. I think personally for me, this is probably, when taking into account the value and the quality, probably the best bourbon you can buy on the US market. So with that, this is my second 5 out of 5 review, and it definitely earns that score. So cheers. We'll catch you next time on Rabbit and Red Reviews. Get out there and find yourself some Elijah Craig Barrel Proof.